In 1918, an American corporal named Lee Duncan walked into a bombed-out war dog kennel somewhere in Lorraine, France, and found 5 puppies, German Shepherd puppies. He kept one, named him Rin Tin Tin after a good luck charm French children gave to soldiers. By 1927, that dog was receiving 10,000 fan letters a week. He made 27 films. Warner Brothers, which was close to collapse at the time, credits Rin Tin Tin with keeping the studio alive. That one dog is basically the reason every cop movie has a German Shepherd in it. He set the template. The loyal, brilliant, indestructible dog, and every German Shepherd since has been living in his shadow, carrying that expectation, usually without the training, the consistency, or the daily structure that made him what he was. Now contrast that with what was happening to Pitbulls around the same time. In the early 1900s, Pitbulls were American mascots, not metaphorically. They literally appeared on World War I recruitment posters, representing national resolve. Pete the pup from The Little Rascals was a Pitbull. A Pitbull named Stubby served in the trenches, survived 17 battles, and was promoted to sergeant. He's the most decorated war dog in American history. These were beloved dogs, normal family dogs, the kind of dog that showed up in paintings above the fireplace. Between then and now, something went wrong. Or, more accurately, something was done to them. Dogfighting went underground in the mid-20th century, and breeders started selecting deliberately for dog aggression, temperament instability, and pain tolerance. They took a dog that was never bred for human aggression, a dog that was actually selected against it, and broke it through intentional breeding and abuse. Then the media found a narrative and ran with it. By the 1980s, Pitbull attack was a headline genre. By the 1990s, cities were banning them outright. Denver banned Pitbulls in 1989. They only lifted it in 2020, 31 years. If animal control knocked on your door and your dog looked like a Pitbull, they could take it. A lot of those dogs got euthanized in shelters, not because of anything they'd done, but because of what they looked like. I'm not telling you this to make you feel bad. I'm telling you this because the reputation gap between these two breeds is not an accident. It's not even fully based on behavior. It's based on history, media cycles, and policy. And if you're picking a dog without understanding that, you'll make the decision for the wrong reasons. The German Shepherd is probably the most capable domestic dog on Earth. Not the smartest, that's usually the Border Collie, but the most capable in the full sense: intelligence, physical power, trainability, drive. It combines all 4 in a way no other breed quite matches. That's why it's everywhere. Military, police, search and rescue, guide work, protection. It can do almost anything you train it to do. The problem is that drive doesn't turn off. A well-bred German Shepherd from working lines, not the showline dogs with the sloped back and the exaggerated rear, the actual working dogs, is mentally running all the time, assessing, cataloging, looking for something to do. When it doesn't have a job, it makes one, and if you haven't given it structure, it will channel that energy into things that genuinely catch people off guard. Not always aggression, destruction, anxiety that manifests as barking your neighbors start documenting. A dog that figures out how to open doors, get into the pantry, systematically dismantle your furniture, not out of anger, but because it is bored, and it is very good at applying force to things. They're also suspicious by design. Socialization isn't optional with this breed. It's the difference between a confident dog and one that treats every delivery person as a credible threat. And that window is early and narrow. Miss it or do it inconsistently, and you spend years managing a fear response that was never necessary in the first place. Then there's the shedding, which sounds minor until you've lived with it. Twice a year, German Shepherds blow coat in a way that's hard to describe to someone who hasn't seen it. The dog appears to be slowly evaporating. You find fur inside sealed containers, inside glasses of water on the counter. People who own Shepherds don't talk about vacuuming as a chore. They talk about it the way people talk about a medication they can't stop taking. Lifespan is 9 to 13 years. Hip dysplasia is a genuine concern, especially in show lines. Degenerative myelopathy, a progressive spinal condition, hits the breed at higher rates than most others. The first-year vet costs alone, between screenings and the inevitable injuries a high-drive dog sustains from being a high-drive dog, can surprise people who didn't budget for it. The Pitbull is in some ways the complete inversion of all of this. It doesn't have the intelligence ceiling of a German Shepherd. It won't solve puzzles. It won't figure out the door handle. It's smart, but it's not plotting. What it is, consistently, across nearly every pit bull I've spent time around, is emotionally present in a way that's almost startling. They read people. They know when something's off. They attach hard to whoever is in their life. And that attachment is not subtle or gradual. A pit bull will lean its full weight against your leg and look up at you with the expression of a dog that has decided you are the best thing that ever happened to it. 4 minutes after you've walked through the door. After a bad day where you barely looked at it. For no particular reason at all, on a Tuesday, that's either exactly what you need or it's overwhelming, depending on who you are. The energy is real, but it's not neurotic. A solid hour of genuine exercise, some play, some attention, that mostly handles it. They're not running background processes between walks. They want to move hard and then collapse next to you on the couch, and honestly, that's most of what the relationship is. Training sticks, but they have a stubborn streak that catches people off guard. They'll learn something in a handful of repetitions and then seem to evaluate whether performing it is actually worth it. They're not defiant exactly, they just have opinions about the arrangement. Dog aggression is real and should be named plainly. Not every pit bull has it, but the breed carries a higher genetic baseline for conflict with other dogs than most, and that's something you manage deliberately, not something you hope around. If you already have pets at home, this matters and deserves an honest conversation with yourself before you commit. Short coat means almost no grooming. Skin issues are common, especially in lighter-colored dogs. Overall health is solid. Average lifespan is 12 to 14 years. When people ask me which one to get, the question itself usually tells me something about them. People drawn to the German Shepherd tend to want a certain image: capable, loyal, serious. And that image isn't wrong. It's just that the dog who actually gives you that relationship is built over years of consistent structure and training. The dog doesn't arrive that way. You build it together, and it asks a lot of you in the meantime. The pit bull will hand you the emotional core of that relationship before you've done anything to deserve it. That might actually be why people underestimate them. A dog that forgives inconsistency, that keeps showing up regardless of what you're giving it, that attaches itself to you without conditions. That dog is easy to take for granted. Sergeant Stubby died in 1926, 2 years after the war ended. His handler had him taxidermied. He's in the Smithsonian now, in his little coat covered in service medals, in a display case most people walk right past on their way to something else. The German Shepherd has statues, K9 memorials, 100 films, an entire cultural mythology. The Pitbull has a taxidermied war hero in a glass case. Which dog you choose probably says something about what you're actually looking for. Just make sure you know what that is before you bring one home.